There's something special about your first MMORPG. Bum, 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 bum. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'll stop. Things have changed. For starters, it's been a long time since I made a video about Oswick and the Paladin journey. By this point, I've achieved level 51, and today a journey that, to be honest, I figured I'd never see is about to be told. Today, we get Soulfire. And I know you guys are like, what about the Armor of Ro? Well, I'm going to be honest, nerd. You were right. You guys in the comments that were like, what a waste of your time. You were right. Fuck that armor. We're not doing that. I still have all the stuff, though. This is the second sword in the Paladin's Epic Sword questline, the first being Ghoulbane, which I achieved back when there were only two ways to collect it, either murdering a Paladin High Elf or fight into the bowels of Guck and reclaim the sword from a Froglock Shinlord. And with the help of some stalwart heroes, I managed to do the second of these, but that story has already been told. Now there is a lot to unpack from the Go Hail a Nerd perspective of the questline, and to save myself the embarrassment of trying to roleplay with the computer, we are going to cover the whats and the whos. Before you is a list of everything required to complete the questline. Drink it in, nerd, because some of this crap is not so easily obtained. And in true Oswick fashion, we are going to go for the difficult things first. The first among these items is the glowing sword hilt. This shiny bauble is being kept warm for me by a troll shadow knight named Zacatl. That's a stupid name, but he makes for a tough customer. What's worse is this nerd resides inside Castle Mistmore, and that place is crawling with the Devil's Army, and everything has the aggro range of an angry wife during B-Week. Enemies in Mistmore don't respect level, meaning all the green enemies are just as angry as anything else that's capable of beating your ass into the dirt. They can aggro through doors, and each room is typically packed with 3+ butthurt undead or dark elven ladies waiting to defile your corpse. On top of all this wonderful stuff, Zacatl only has a 15% chance to spawn and has an 85% chance to spawn a Mistmore guard instead of the troll, and is sitting on an 8-minute respawn timer. The good news? Well, if you manage to fight your way into the castle, and he just so happens to be there, and you manage to murder him, there is a 100% chance that he drops the sword hilt. Silver linings, I suppose. Okay, knowing all this, let's beat the brakes off some ugly. Alright, so venturing into Mistmore alone is sketchy at best. So I decided to bring Orez's alt Trey along for the ride. Trey is a beast lord and a few levels above me, so I figured this should be easy. As I stated earlier, Mistmore is a shit show at the best of times, and although Trey and I could beat the brakes off of most of the enemies, it is easy to get overwhelmed by a gaggle of angry bitches. And because I suck at video games, that is exactly what happened. I made a single misstep and the adventure turned tits up real quick. Thankfully, we were the only ones in the zone at the time and no one died due to our stupidity, and by our, I mean mostly mine. After recovering, we were more cautious and used invisibility to skirt past the trash outside of the castle, but neither of us were certain where the troll Shadow Knight was located. Thankfully, we met a level 60 Bard Kass who was helping a friend do something. I'm not sure what they were up to, but I'm glad they were there because Kass was able to guide us to where Zacatl spawned within Mayong's bathroom. Gross. Anyway, with the location discovered and the chopper cover of a level 60 Bard in the area, this felt like it was going to smooth out some and that it would only be a matter of time before the glowing sword hilt was mine. But all we got were placeholders, and unfortunately, time was of the essence. It was like 3 a.m., and I was starting to get tired, and Orez felt the same. So, unfortunately, we called it a night. The following day, I reached out to Rindis, who just so happens to be my first friend on Project Quorum, and asked if he wanted to help me murder a troll. Rindis is a serial killer, so he was all about it, and said he would meet me there shortly. Now armed with 3 hours of sleep and a maniac, we fought our way inside to where my foe awaited. Once inside, it was that age-old waiting game that EQ does best. Sit on your ass and wait for a nerd you're looking for to arrive. In our case, we need a troll to spawn on the shitter so that we can ambush him for a sword hilt. When you say it like that, it almost sounds like we're the bad guys. Nah, fuck him. Regardless, it was only a matter of time before Zagatl had to take a dump, and we pounced. Pause. Okay, tree of trust time. Let's just shimmy up the branches real quick, because you guys may have noticed that I'm wielding the Blade of Carnage. This is a one-handed tank sword that is pretty beefy. It is not my sword. It's actually Rendis' sword, and he lets me borrow it from time to time, meaning until he decided to sell it for big monies. So it's not my sword, and by the time I'm writing this narrative, it has already been sold for the gains of Rin's coin purse. Okay, with that out of the way, back to the troll beatdown. Rindis and I made short work of the fat shit, and as stated before, if you can make it to him and murder him, he will always drop the hilt. Okay, so of the two difficult items to obtain, I would say that the hilt is the easier of the two. This next item on our list is the Testimony of Truth, and it is being held by Sir Lucan Delir, leader of the Freeport Militia. Delir is easy to find in the Freeport Militia building in West Freeport. The issue is he is surrounded by Freeport guards who will attack the moment you try to lay a finger on their beloved leader. So we needed either a really strong group or really strong cheese. We opted for the cheese. How this was accomplished was by attacking him and allowing him to chase me to the zone line while Rindis trailed behind him, leading him near the zone line, and as soon as I zoned out and the Paladin threat was considered gone, Rindis hailed him on repeat to keep him locked outside of town and alone. Then I re-enter the zone, we regroup, and we drop a beating on his corrupt ass, Rome style.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Like a phoenix, you burst
And although Lucan is a tough customer due to having to kill his dumbass twice, we managed to take him out, and the testimony of truth was mine. Sensational. Okay, so as with most quests in EverQuest, yeah, damn. You do a lot of hand this nerd some crap, and in turn, he will give you some other crap. I mean, it's the truth. We're going to be starting this hand a nerd some crap still in Freeport, which I'm now kill on sight in because of the whole Delir murder. It was justified, he's a bad guy. Regardless, we are in East Freeport at the Seafarer's Roost, a quaint little watering hole right off the harbor. And what is needed for this part is 4 drams champagne, which can be purchased from Henna in the very same bar. Now, the NPC we are waiting for is Tykar Renlin, and he is on a pretty quick rotating spawn with some other nerds that aren't worth mentioning. There is no need to kill anyone for this part, it's just a waiting game for Tykar to spawn and hand him the 4 drinks, each in their own trade slot, mind you. And in doing so, Tyke will give you the bunker cell number 1, which looks like some gently used toilet paper. Once I had the butt wiper, it was time to get some edible goo and bog juice. Both of these items are crafted via cooking and brewing. Thankfully, both are easy to make even at a skill level of 1. Bog juice is crafted at a brewing station and requires 1 bottle, which can be purchased at most taverns, a water flask, and some snake scales, which are sold by a handful of merchants or farmed from snakes throughout the world. I bought my snake scales from Pardor the Blessed in the East Commonlands because I'm lazy. Combine these into a brewing station and eventually you'll get a bog juice. Edible goo is crafted in an oven and requires 1 rat ear and 1 fire beetle eye. Disgusting. Again, these are trivial recipes, so they aren't too hard to come by. Murder rats, murder fire beetles, smash that shit together in an oven until you are victorious. The quest only requires 1 of each of these items, along with the toilet paper, and they need to be delivered to a prisoner in the West Freeport Arena prison. The fighters here are not aggressive, even with my Freeport faction absolutely screwed, but it's always best to have an invisibility potion at hand, just in case. Delivering these 3 items to the prisoner awarded me with the HK-102 key, which is a key for a deposit box in High Keep, which happens to be our next objective. Now there is probably a meta way to do all of this crap to save time, but I'm dumb, so yeah, we're gonna go with my way. Once in High Keep, we are headed to the bank to give the key that we just received to Bank Clerk Jalen for a sealed note. Now, if you don't like having your faction absolutely tanked with the Freeport Militia, you can slowly repair it by doing the Left Goblin Ear quest for Guard Bosek, and each ear delivered raises your faction with the Freeport Militia without ruining any other faction. Just be prepared for a slog. It is not a lot of faction, but I'm sure some lunatic has achieved it. I say fuck Freeport, so I didn't bother. Now that we have the sealed letter tucked deep within our pockets, it's time to head back to the Commonlands and give a nerd a t-shirt. Altunic is a roaming NPC, but always returns to his shop, and I'm not a good enough EverQuester to give you the dates and times. But you need to give him a cloth shirt of medium size, so no small or large shirts. These can be bought from an assortment of nerds across Norath, so go grab a shirt and find a nerd. Giving Altunic the shirt rewarded me with a token of generosity. It's a lore item, so you can only carry 1 at a time, and we want to pair it with the token of bravery, which is earned by delivering a spider venom sack to Mirko outside the Paladin's Guild in North Freeport. Spider venom sacks are easy to find. You can either kill big spiders, which are all over the place in the Commonlands, or check the nearby merchants. I went with the merchant route. Delivering these items to North Freeport while you are KOS is also not much of a problem, because there is a hidden tunnel in the Freeport yard that can be used to enter and exit the city without drawing the unwanted attention of the assholes that are pretending to be good guys. Mirko is located around the right side of the Paladin's Guild. Giving him a venom sack rewards the token of bravery. To progress and make sure you're buffed up, because we're about to be giving him both the tokens and get into a pretty nasty fight. Giving Mirko both tokens spawns the tyrannical guard Willem, who spawns in the sewer area just behind Mirko. And he needs to die.
Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn, a thirst and desire, you
I'm just kidding. Willem is a bitch, and he will die as he lived. Like shit. Loot the token of truth from the pile of pathetic and return to Mirko and give him the token to receive the testimony. Okay, so the final turn-ins for this quest require warm faction with both the Knights of Truth and the Priests of Life. We're going to start with the Knights. Knight faction can be achieved in a few ways. The first is by murdering orcs in the common lands, and to be honest, they're on a pretty fast respawn, so this is a very viable option. Or if you are so bold and you don't care about faction, you can kill guards in the area and send your militia faction into the dumpster. Just mind guard slate, that nerd can fight. But the easiest way is to simply repeat the last few steps of the Token of Truth quest. Give Altunic a shirt, give Mirko a spider venom sac, turn in both tokens and murder Willem for his token and give that token to Mirko. This is 130-ish positive faction for the Knights and will skyrocket your faction with them in just a few runs. And it is exactly what I did. Once my faction was warm with the Knights, I went back to the Paladins Guild and found Valeron du Shire on the roof and handed him the testimony of truth that we looted from Lucan Delir. In return, he handed me the Brilliant Sword of Faith, which is a weapon you can use if you really want to. But we need it for the following parts, so it is more a decoration piece than anything else. And with this in my possession, it was time to head to Quenos. Now I already have max faction with the Priest of Life because I have killed a lot of bandits in Karana, and I also had a fishing incident back in episode 3 of this series and paid my penance by slathering a boy in oil. There. All is well. I've returned your fucking fish. Let's deliver some more oil and see if we can get up to them liking me. Why the fuck do they have a sacred fish? They got a sacred fish, they got a quest to errand boy baby oil, and they're passing out beads left and right. What the fuck is going on in Quenos that we don't know about? That's what I want to know. What's the deep lore in the priesthood of Quenos? These are the questions, these are the quests that we should be embarking upon. These are the questions that need answered. Maybe the Shadow Knights are, onto something. Maybe the Shadow Knights of the Aqueducts are like, man, we're not going up there. These guys are slathered in baby oil and passing out butt beads. We got to get the fuck out of here. Look, fuck you, okay? But fret not, nerd, for there is a good, albeit expensive way to raise your faction with the Priest of Life, and that is to give Lucian here. Lashin? Has it been Lashin this entire time? Whatever, you give this nerd 2 gold at a time. This gives faction with the Priest of Life, or you can watch episode 3 of this series and deliver baby oil to a fucking old man. Pick your poison, nerd. And run through Karana, even though I don't wanna. Fuck. Anyway, after all of this is done and the priests have made love to you, or the priests love you, it is time to head to the Split Paw dungeon. The paw is a bit of a maze, but the nerd we are looking for is Brother Hale, and he is located in the jail of Split Paw. What he did, I don't know. Similar to Mistmore, this place is another aggro hell, so I opted for my invisibility potion and a map. Once you have located Brother Hale, you hand him the sealed letter first by itself. He then returns the letter back to you opened. Then you give him the open letter, the testimony, the Brilliant Sword of Faith, and the glowing sword hilt, and in return, you get Soulfire, a fine weapon for the wayward Paladin, and 1 sword closer to the Paladin epic. God damn. What he didn't mention was that the doors close behind me and they are on a timer and only open via the lever outside of the cell, trapping me inside the cell with him. Fuck. I would like to take this moment to thank Leafly for running all the way to Split Paw to make fun of me with the rest of my guild, but then rescue a stupid paladin from himself. I would also like to thank Rendis for a team up to send some villains to Jesus, or as I know you would have been down if you had been online. And thank you for the group during our first attempt, brother. And finally, thank you nerds for watching. I hope you enjoyed some Paladin goodness, and if you managed to boop that subscribe button, I appreciate you. As always, a special thank you to my channel members for being the absolute best. Membership to the channel only costs $1, and it helps a nerd make more videos. And remember, real life is that MMORPG grind. The quests suck sometimes, and the rewards aren't always the best. Be sure to take care of your main character and your companions. Until next time, friends, goodbye. Dun 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 dun, like a phoenix, you fingered the priest alive, and they serve a nerd called Knife, and now no one will subscribe. Like a phoenix, they serve a stupid fish, and we may deliver our bitch. Oh, Phoenix. Oh, fuck.